Good morning, students. Students, you know that in my last video clip I have explained till Web 2.0 point, page number 174, before Web 2.0 topic. Okay, so today, as I have told you that whenever I will prepare my next video, I would like to start from Web 2.0 point. Okay, so today I have opened page number 174 and topic is Web 2.0. So I am reading and then I will explain you, and I request all of you to listen as well as to watch this video to understand about it. Okay, see, Web 2.0. The phrase Web 2.0 hints at an improved form of the World Wide Web. So you know about the World Wide Web, okay, and this is the improved version or improved form of World Wide Web or W3. The term was coined in 1919 by Jerzy Tinucci and was popularized by Tim O'Reilly at the O'Reilly Media Web 2.0 conference in 2004. So it was coined, that means it has come in the market that 1999. Okay, Web 2.0, Web 2.0 is the second generation of the World Wide Web and is the current state of online technology. It is capable of greater user interactivity, more widespread network connectivity, and enhanced communication procedure is comparison to the previous World Wide Web technology. You know, World Wide Web, this is a technology, okay, and which is spread all over the world, and with the help of which today we can see the websites. Okay, whenever we see any website or web pages, whenever we start surfing for any websites or surfing the internet, okay, we see web pages on the browser. How is it possible to see that? Because of World Wide Web, www. So www is also having a particular technology. Okay, earlier days whatever the technology it has used, but this Web 2.0 is the latest technology, okay, which are using. Then next paragraph, one of the most significant differences between Web 2.0 and the traditional World Wide Web. Traditional means old one. Okay, World Wide Web is now greater collaboration of group work and possible among the internet users. Yes, now group work, collaboration, that means all we can do a particular work. Okay, because of the World Wide Web, various web pages are today interlinked among each other. Understood? Various web pages, because suppose our school is having website. For example, our school is having one website, and in that website more than 100 web pages are there. So all web pages are interlinked among that websites in the website. Just like that, there are various websites are there, and many web pages, and all those web pages are interlinked among each other. Now, when all these websites are there and all these are connected through the network, so we can say that all web pages are linked, isn't it? So, just if you think about that, then you could imagine that Web 2.0, this is the latest technology that we are using. So it's a group collaboration, means it's a bigger collaboration. Okay, and originally data was posted on websites and users simply viewed or downloaded the content. In Web 2.0, users are capable of supplying input to change web content. The social nature of Web 2.0 is another major difference between Web 2.0 and the original web. In Web 2.0, websites enable social networking. Okay, websites enable social networking. Websites are enabling social networking, blogging, wikis, tagging, RSS, and social bookmarking. So today's social media, blogging, Twitter, all these things you heard about it. Okay, you know about it, and today all these things are properly we are utilizing. It is possible with the help of this Web 2.0. Okay, so then the key features of Web 2.0 are, number one, folksonomy. The traditional web uses a predefined classification of information like category and subcategory of example. For example, Yahoo directory, okay, Yahoo directory On the other hand, Web 2.0 allows users to create and arrange information as per their wish. It's allowing us, okay, or it's facilitating us, okay, to create our own environment, to create according to our own wish. This is also known as social tagging. Social tagging, what is the meaning of social tagging? That socially we can tag data, we can tag photos and all, okay. So folksonomy, organizing internet content into different categories using tagging. Number 2, user as a contributor. User as a contributor, okay, contribute. In the traditional web, the information is often provided by the site owner and the site, and the user is always the receiver. Earlier generations, in earlier days, in the web technology, users were always receiver. Suppose I am user, so I have to always act as a receiver. I cannot send the data. I couldn't send the data according to the earlier days technology. But the information model excuse me, was one way. In Web 2.0, users can also contribute to the content by means of evaluation. In Web 2.0, users also can send something. Understood? This is the difference. Earlier days, user couldn't send anything, but nowadays it is possible. Users also can send. Users not only limited only to receive, users can send also. By means of evaluation, review and commenting. Review, okay, evaluation and comment also user can pass. A typical example is the Amazon.com customer review section. Students, you have seen Amazon, Flipkart, they are showing that review. Yes, isn't it? 4.8, 3.3, 4.0 review. Okay, sometimes companies, they are providing such facilities and they are asking us to give review, that is it good, better or best. Okay, like that. So we have to give review. So today we can give the review. That means this facility today we are getting with the help of this Web 2.0. Earlier days it was not there, okay. Then number 3, long tail. Unlike the traditional web, in Web 2.0, the product is not sold directly but offered as a service on the basis of demand. Income is generated as a monthly fee and pay per consumption, for example Google Apps. So today with the help of the apps we can purchase something, okay. And now this tradition means this purchasing tradition and all, it has also changed. Like see what is said, that product is not sold directly but offered as a service on the basis of demand. On the basis of demand we can offer. For example, suppose you have seen something in the Flipkart or Amazon. So first you have to demand, first you have to select that. You have to click on the purchase option or buy option. Then only you could get it. Isn't it? Number 4, user participation. User can also participate. In the traditional web, the content is solely provided by the website's owner of the company. But now Web 2.0, the users are also participate in content of sourcing. User can also participate. This is also known as crowdsourcing. This process is also called crowdsourcing because users can also share his or her idea. Number 5, basic trust. In the traditional web, the content is protected under intellectual property right. In Web 2.0, the content is made available to share, reuse, redistribute and edit. In Web 2.0, the content we can share. Suppose there is file, I can share the file with the others. Okay, then reuse, we can reuse anything. We can reuse any file, we can reuse any data. Content sourcing, this is also known as reuse, redistribute also, and edit. Edit means to change, formatting, okay. For example, Wikipedia. So you know Wikipedia, if you want to know about a particular things, then you can open encyclopedia or Wikipedia like that. Okay, so I hope that you have understood this Web 2.0. What is Web 2.0? Okay, this is the advanced of www technology, okay, advanced portion or advanced version. Now we will study blog. You know about the blog, you heard so many times that particular celebrity is written something in the blog or not, like that. So a blog short for weblog, is an online journal or diary usually maintained by the individual. Sometimes we are maintaining also diary, we are writing our personal things and all in the diary, or whatever we do in the day to day, sometimes we write. So in internet also, in online also, means using digital media also, we can simple we can maintain a diary, but in that case it is not called diary, it is called as blogging. Okay, suppose if you want to write something about your personal, your biography or whatever, your life cycle or whatever is happening day to day in your life, if you want to write online or digitally, then you have to choose this blog. It is a place to share your thoughts with the world. You can share. A blog can be defined as an own website that can be updated for an ongoing basis. So it acts like your own websites which you can update according to you. Then next point, tagging. You know about this tagging, social media, maximum times we do it. Tagging. In information system, a tag is a keyword or term assigned to a piece of information such as digital image or a computer file. Okay. It is referred to as metadata that helps to describe an item. It's a metadata, data about data, okay, which helps us, okay, to describe an item. Tags are usually chosen by the item created by its own, created by creator or by its viewer. Viewer means those who can view. Okay, so here you see what is written there. You should know the term weblog was coined by John Berger in December 1997. The short form of blog coined by Peter Marhols in April or May 1999. Okay, so tagging also you heard. So the second paragraph of this tagging, it is really understandable. The second paragraph, it is referred to as metadata. So what is tagging, you may write. It is referred to as metadata and helps to describe an item. Wiki, next point. Wiki is a web application that allows users to participate in creating the content of a website. It helps us to create content in a website, of a website. The term comes from the word wiki, which means first in the Hawaiian language. Okay, the simplest wiki program allows users to create and edit contents. We can create as well as we can edit the content with the help of wiki. The best known example of a wiki website is Wikipedia. You know about Wikipedia. You read this, you should know. Then next point is RSS. Rich Site Summary, or RSS, is a terminology that specifies a means of sharing news, headlines and other contents between websites. Okay, this is a term by which we can share the news, headlines and other content between various websites. Okay. Both Internet Explorer 7 and Mozilla Firefox 2.0 include integrated RSS functions. These browsers support these RSS functions. Okay. When you subscribe to the RSS feed of a website, you don't have to go to website to check the news, etc. Your web browser will check the site for you and bring the update from the website. Students, just to imagine, like right now I'm sending constantly you YouTube videos and all. If you do not subscribe the video, then what to do? Then whatever the next video would, if I send any video, then it wouldn't be reach or appear on your mobile or browser. Okay, but if you subscribe, then automatically update and all, everything it is shown, isn't it? So just like that, RSS is also like that type of technology. And if it is enabled, if your web browser is RSS enabled, then whichever the websites you visit more or you like more, okay, then those things and any updated, any change on those websites or those particular things, it would be appear on your web browser because of this RSS technique. So your web browser will check the site for you and bring the update from that websites. Okay. Users can see whether a website has RSS feed or not by looking at the right of the address field in the web browser and clicking on the RSS feed icon. So this is the RSS feed icon. Now move to the next page. See, social bookmarking. If you have ever emailed a friend or family member a link to a website, you have used social bookmarking. Bookmark like that. Social bookmarking is tagging a website and saving it for later use. Instead of saving them to your web browser, you are saving them to the web. We can save them also web with you have to click once. Okay, it is called social bookmarking. Normal bookmarking and social bookmarking. Concept is same. Because your bookmark are online, you are easily share them with your friends. Okay, whichever the content you are using more or you want to share maybe, so you can bookmark those social content. Social networking, you know about it, students, about social networking. In fact, I have seen so many things. Social networking, a social networking service is a platform, or it's a platform to build social relations among people who share interest. Actually, how this thought has come, this social networking. Actually, nowadays we are so much busy in our life or corporate life, and because we don't have time to go to any our relatives house or any our dear and near one's house to talk to them, to spend some time with them. So that is why now we are using social media so that we can connect you with each other. Okay, though we don't have time due to some work pressure and all, so we can easily contact with the others using the social media. Okay. So it's a platform to build social relation among people who share interest, activities and backgrounds or real life connections. Social networking sites allow individuals to create a public profile and a list of users with whom to share connections. You know that there are so many social networking websites. The popular social networking website is Facebook. Okay, and we can create our profile. Okay, we can make it public, and then we can make many friends. Okay, friends means relatives and all. Okay, means suppose there are some friends, those who are we know, but there are for many days we are not contact with them, but we can find them easily from using those social media. The users can also share ideas, pictures, events and interests. Example of social networking sites are About Me, for example Facebook, Flickr, Google+. Okay. Wi-Fi technology. Wi-Fi is a technology that allows uses radio waves to provide network WLAN connectivity. Wi-Fi means wireless fidelity. Wireless means there is nowhere, there will be no physical connection, no physical network. Wi-Fi it's a device by which without wire also we can get network connection. Okay, or we can use internet with the help of wireless fidelity. So connection is established using a wireless adapter. Adapter means the device by which we can get that connection. Creating a hotspot area. Okay, where the hotspot area means that area from which we can get that internet connection, where the wireless router is connected to the network and allows users to access internet services. Okay, if you have broadband internet at your home and within the line of sight from your home, then you may be able to get free Wi-Fi internet access. Suppose you have broadband connection, then you need a Wi-Fi device to attach with that broadband. Then you can use from anywhere in your home, in your house, from anywhere you can use that internet. Okay, with the help of Wi-Fi. Because if you are not using Wi-Fi, that means you have to use LAN, local area network, using wire connection. And if you are using wire, then only from a particular place you have to use the internet. But if you are using WLAN or wireless LAN, then with the help of the adapter or the device, we can get internet access from any room, isn't it? Because it is Wi-Fi enabled, that's why. Okay, next, how Wi-Fi works. See, like mobile phones, how Wi-Fi works, network makes use of radio waves to transmit information. You know, it uses radio waves to transmit information across the network. The computer should be connected with a wireless adapter. As I said, whatever I said, it is already there. So we need broadband connection, as well as we need wireless router, and with the router or adapter, then we can get the connection. The computer should be connected to a wireless adapter through which data will be transmitted into a radio signal. The signal will be transmitted via antenna to the router. Antenna means, you know, student, antenna, the connection. Next, what are hotspots? What are hotspots? Students, you have seen hotspot. Just you remember last year I used to bring one small white color Airtel device. Headmaster gave me that to update that antivirus. I used to come to every class to update using that white color small that Airtel. It was written in red color, isn't it? Remember that one is called hotspot. The term hotspot is used to define an area where Wi-Fi access is available. So hotspot is a device, and with the help of that device, one particular place, limited place, it will become a hotspot area. From that area, anyone can get internet access, such as restaurants, airports, you know, and nowadays in railway stations also, Durgapur, Asansol. Okay, we can get internet connection, isn't it? Next is cloud computing. Very important topic, cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Students, before discussing about cloud computing, I want to discuss you something. See, whenever we use our computer, our mobile phone to store some data, we can call that our data is stored in hard disk, isn't it? Hard disk means permanently, data is stored in permanently. But suppose continuously you are storing the data, and once after a few days you have seen that, oh no, your hard disk is full, now you can't store more data. Then what to do? then either you have to use pen drive or other external hard disk, or maybe you have to increase the size of the hard disk, isn't it? Lot of problems are there. So nowadays another technology has appeared, technology it has come to the market, that is use the server's memory space to store the data. Use server's space to store the data. For example, that suppose we are having, suppose I am having computer right now. Suppose for example I am having computer and already my computer hard disk is full, already full, more or less full. Now how to store more data? It would create another problem, isn't it? So there are some company which provides us the facility to store some important data, as well as you can think as a backup also, to store the data in the server's computer or server's database, to store the data in server database or remote databases. Okay, server database or remote database meaning is same. So whenever we use the server's database to store any data, then we can call this is a facility is called cloud computing. For example, clouds just floating from one place to another place. So our data is also floating from one place to another place, and our data is stored virtually. That means right now if I store data in cloud computing process, that means my data is not stored in my computer, but my data is stored and anytime I can access it, but my data is stored in the server's computer. For example, you read about a topic is Google Drive. You know student, Google Drive. So what is Google Drive? Google Drive is a cloud computing services. Okay, Microsoft OneDrive, that is also one cloud computing services. Okay, by which we can store the data in servers, computer or remote databases. Okay, and from any time, from anywhere we can get access. Okay, just we have to give that ID password, then we can enter and then we can access those data. Okay, even I have also kept my some important data in the cloud storage. Okay, see, as mentioned in previous text, cloud computing technology can be described as storing and retrieving data. Storing means to store, retrieve means to get, okay. Remote location over the internet instead of the hard disk. See students, whatever I said is written there. So the concept of remote, so students, you just read when it has come, inventions. Okay, you just read about it. Then cloud computing services contains three components. Cloud computing service contains three components. Client means, suppose I am using the cloud computing services, so I am the client. Okay, client computers or users computer connected to the internet, so my computer it should be connected with the internet. Okay, then distributed server. What is distributed server? Distributed servers are the computers at remote location storing the data and programs on the internet. That server. Data center, that is one or more servers storing the application and accesses via internet. When data is stored in, when there are many servers are there where data might be stored, okay, then it will be called as data center. See, via internet distributed servers, the geographical locations of the server computers may be different. Obviously I can't say that that server is only located here or there. No, server is located in geographically in any area, many areas or okay. And don't think that there will be only one server. No, there could be many servers. Okay, so we will access a server which is nearby us. Or actually we don't know that in which server the data is stored. It is not possible to know for us, because we are only storing the data. Okay, that particular company is giving facility and we are using that. So for us it's not possible to know that in which server that data is stored. Okay, but we can store the data in the remote server, that remote database. That's fine. Advantage of cloud computing: see, reduce cost of infrastructure resources. We no need to purchase pen drive, external hard disk, then that. Okay. Secured and reliable. Yes, whenever we store the data in any remote database, it is really secured and reliable. That data, no virus couldn't attack. Okay, data will be in safe way. Very large storage capacity, it will give us very large storage. For example, in YouTube, right now, see, I am teaching you. Soon I will store this video in the YouTube, and constantly I am storing the video in YouTube. So what do you think, that where I am storing the data? Am I storing my data in my computer YouTube? No, I am storing the data in YouTube. That means YouTube server. Okay, all these videos and all, it is stored in YouTube server. So very large storage capacity, accessible from anywhere. It can access from, see, my video, it is stored in the YouTube database, and you can easily check, you can easily see from your own house. Just you tap on the link, that video would start, isn't it? Then share the files easily. We can share the file. Disadvantage, requires internet access. Yes, obviously, if you want to use the cloud computing services, you need internet connection. Okay. Then examples of cloud computing service: Google Drive, Gmail, Google Hangouts. Already I said about it. Then using cloud storage in Google Drive. So how to use? Just you read. Once you read this process, that open the browser, go to google.com, create an account with the Google. First you have to create an account in the Google, then only you could be able to use the cloud computing services from Google. As you log in to Google Drive with the username and password, it will provide you 15 GB and 15 GB online storage space. Just imagine 15 GB. One pen drive cost 16 GB pen drive cost maybe 400, 500, 600. But here you are getting 15 GB free of cost. No need to pay about it. No need to pay for it. It also allows you to share files with the others. Okay, the files shared by others with you will be accessible through the folders shared with me. Okay, students. So students, till this portion, after this chapter is finished. Okay. So this chapter is very long chapter. That's why students, I took such time to teach you this topic. Okay, and however I am teaching to you, in the same way you have to learn this chapter. You have to understand the chapter, and you if you don't understand about this chapter, then you can tell me. But you are thinking, sir, how could you tell me? First of all, you can send me text messages in the Tenno app, or you maybe write in the comment box in the YouTube video, or in the Thursday. Every Thursday I go to school. Okay, so on Thursday also you can come to share your problem, then I could solve it. Okay, but don't come all of you together, then once again gathering will be there. I don't want gathering. Okay, maybe if some of you, maybe 5 or 6, if you have any problem, then you can come. You may come. Okay, it's not necessary, but you may come, or it is better to ask via Tenno app or using this comment box and all. Okay. Next, students, you read the summary. Okay, first you read the summary. It's very important, because whatever the topic you have already learned about that all those topics, the summary is given. So first of all, you have to read this chapter thoroughly. You have to read the chapter properly, then only you come to the exercise part. So students, in this video I would like to tell you the short question answers from the exercise. Okay, so you note down. Page number 179. Fill in the blanks. A LAN, L-A-N, LAN is a network. So first, question number 1, fill in the blanks. Number A, LAN, L-A-N, LAN. Number B, NIC, network interface card, NIC. Number B, NIC. Number C, first, carry digital. See, carry digital. Then next, analog signal. Analog signal. Question number C, first dash digital, second dash analog. Question number D, first dash computers, more computers, next dash instructions, next dash instructions. Question number D, first dash computers, number D, instructions. Number E, router. Number E, router. Question number 2, choose the correct answer. Question number A, option number 2, switch. Question number B, option number 1, web portal. Question number C, option number 3, geostationary. Question number D, option number 2, CAN, C-A-N, CAN. Question number E, option number 1, router. Question number 3, select the true false. Question number A, question number 3A, false. Number B, true. Number C, false. Number D, true. Number E, false. Okay, students, question number 4 and 5 I will discuss afterwards, because question number 4 and 5, if I see it's big, then either I will write, or I will maybe I can make another video and I can tell anything. Okay, either video or like PDF file, like every time however I prepare, I will send according to that. So students, already I have told the question answers. Okay, so True, false. Once again I am telling you, true, false. Question number 3, A, false. B, true. C, false. D, true. E, false. If you have any problem, any query, send me the text messages. Okay, I hope all of you have understood students. Okay, thank you.